So then you can adjust it accordingly. So this is a very quick table, and what I want to show here, the only thing to show here, using the Markowitz and efficient frontier, is that portfolio B and C, if you compare them, you notice how the percentages of the return are kind of mirror images versus the probability of the performance. Well, if you do the numbers on it, okay, what's interesting, right? You get a negative number here, okay, of the covariance. And what that says is they move in opposite directions. Well, that's a trick that's commonly used, is you buy high tech over here, but you also buy some Procter & Gamble for soaps and things like that. So if tech goes down, soaps are going to go up because everybody uses toilet paper and soap. So this just simply shows you how you can adjust the weight in your portfolio and the performance. And I think this is the conclusion here, is you adjust the weights with your rebalancing, and by doing that periodically, you maximize your performance and minimize your risk. And that's the objective.
Well, don't you do that with your balance between stocks and bonds anyway?
You say, is there a balance?
You balance your portfolio with stocks and bonds the same way.
Well, you do.
Inverse relationship.
You can.
Well, you can. You talk to your like Fidelity or whatever, they may recommend for your age so much bond, so much equity, so much cash. Like you say, your cash is not going to give you much money, but what it does do is it preserves your capital, and if an opportunity arises, you can invest into something else. I worked with a fellow at Sandia who, when he retired, he was concerned. He was too analytical. He was looking at the market, and he said, "Man, this doesn't look right." He said, "So I'm going to buy some gold." And he bought a bunch of gold bullion. Well, gold is okay, but gold is not necessarily the best investment. I like to tell him that, well, let's say you have a pile of bullion, okay, and Armageddon comes and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Now, how are you going to trade that gold? You're going to slice off a piece. I'm going to take it to Ron and say, "Hey, Ron, can I have some of your canned goods from this piece of gold?" Is he going to? He might want a whole bar of gold. I don't know.
I got some baked beans I like this one.
Yeah. So, and I'm nearing the conclusion of this, but your estate planning is basically doing everything. You want to see your entire portfolio, your home, your insurance if you have any, your investments, and let's see, I've made a few general statements here. Some general rules: do start early, not later. If you're going to do insurance, take it from me, because I work there. You want to buy it young, okay? Because if you buy it when you're my age, it costs you an arm and a leg. It doesn't mean it can't be done, but whole life insurance is very expensive then. And I talk about term down here. Accountants like the idea of buy term, it's the cheapest, and invest the difference. So, and let's see. I think I'll skip that. So here's kind of the conclusions and the summary. You can write down your goals. You want to save for the present as well as the future. You want to minimize risk, meaning rebalance. And I say in here, be careful. Have any of you read the book called Tipping Point? Okay, and I think it's pretty good because it makes a few points in there that there are people in this world, and I'm not one of them. They're called senders, salesmen, what's the other term? Connectors, okay? And according to the book, these people can sell anything. They have a gift. So you have to be careful if you're investing in a quality way, not to just give your money haphazardly. You have to be careful. And then use estate planning so that all of your assets are considered into this evaluation, this plan. So that's it, basically. Are there any questions? I'm willing to answer.
What's the difference between a will and a trust? Make it clear.
I'm not a lawyer per se, but I'll give you general difference. Either one, say a will is basically a legal document that dictates to the courts or whoever where your assets are going to go, to whom and how much, and that sort of thing. A trust is a legal document whereby you can, there's different kinds. There's irrevocable, there's revocable. You can put all of your assets into that trust. And if you do it properly, I'm told by people I know here at life, if you do it properly, you can actually, you can pass your assets on when you die to your heirs without not only probate but without taxes. Okay, and you can also do it in such a way. At least this one attorney that works in New York Life said, and I was considering it myself, is you can actually, in certain states, you can have a trustee, like a state of Nevada, a trustee from Nevada, and there's legal advantages to where you don't pay taxes, just because you have a trustee in the state of Nevada. And so if you had $1 million estate, and you have a trustee, you have a trust, and you have this estate in the trust, or at least a portion of it, and you have a trustee in Nevada, then you can avoid some taxes.
So the non-tax piece would be, there's a will, and it's referred to a son or daughter, they're going to pay tax on
They'll
that.
pay a
unless
tax.
it's
Actually, I just have been doing this.
Right.
Number one is that the tax difference is fairly inconsequential unless you're above 5 million.
Okay.
And then it begins to get when it pays out versus when you receive. But the big thing about a properly constructed trust is the trust is unassailable for liability. Like well, I will give the example that the former president of this organization has managed to assess a pretty large fortune, which he has in the living trust. And part of the reason is that if I have a liability, the trust cannot be assailed for my liability when he passes on.
It's good for, if you own your own business, or
That's
you, no, what is it, the trust, isn't that your, people inherit your trust. You, upon your death, whoever manages your trust becomes on the board of directors of the trust, and they would, in managing the trust, they would draw tax deductible salary from that trust. And and they can be deemed permanent members of this board of directors of the trust.
The other key difference, I've been going through this with my parents.
It's just,
That's
so that's
all
what
that
you do
is.
with my parents.
Is, with like Medicare, Medicare will not step in and start covering your costs of care until you've exhausted all your assets.
Yeah.
But if they belong to the trust and you're just a beneficiary of the trust, they're no longer your assets. And so Medicare can come in and you don't have to deplete your entire estate, leaving nothing to your heirs because you have a medical cost. And that's to me the biggest advantage of these trusts, is that it really protects you from that.
And that has to be to affect a full calendar year before you make any claims to Medicare.
That actually brings up an important aspect of trust, in that a trust is a legal entity. It's not just a
Yes.
document.
Yeah.
It's a legal entity that's put in place, and your assets are then transferred to that legal entity, which you, as the trustee, control,
But don't own.
but don't know.
Yeah,
But you can draw salaries from
Right,
that's
right.
tax.
And
tax.
those are typically irrevocable. Right.
Yes.
Now, the thing about an irrevocable trust, you've got to be careful about. Like, let's say you have some kids and you want to send them to college. It's like, what is it, 503B?
Well, And what's been said is true for irrevocable and revocable.
Well, what I'm getting, the point I want to make is that when you put the money into the trust for them, you're not getting it back.
Yeah.
That's my point.
What we've been talking about is trust for you, or we've been using examples of trust of our parents.
Yeah,
Then it's different than saying we're going to make a trust for college.
yeah.
You can't make a trust.
Yeah, you can
Oh.
transfer funds that way, but you have to be really careful
Careful.
because you lose control.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the classic